Welcome to the one-stop, one-shot cure-all for fevered gamers.
Sit back and let us soothe your sweaty brows.
You're watching Bits.
Tonight we're loading up our guns for a Kingpin masterclass.
We're leaping across the decades as Sinistar gets its Millennium Makeover.
And we're checking out the latest pretender to the Tomb Raider throne. Look out, Lara Croft, this is Rin in Draken.
But first, there's mouths to feed.
Get those fingers working. The dough's gotta be ready, the sauce has gotta be made. The boss ain't gonna be smiling when he comes in and finds out his restaurant isn't ready to be opened. He should never have used Pizza Syndicate to get his business in operation. What is this? A computer simulation? Huh, no, it's the real thing. Pizza is a good thing. Computers are fun. But a business simulation in the guise of a lap-a-minute Italian food fiesta. It just doesn't quite cut the pepperoni. How Bits curses Will Wright, creator of the immensely successful SimCities. After that thriving metropolis in a box took off 10 years ago, anyone who can put two and two together is releasing some sort of management game for the control freak in all of us. We've had Sim Farm, Sim Mars, Sim Theme Park, and even Sim Porn Industry, none of which has ever reached the dizzying heights of stimulation that the original series sports. Sadly, people keep trying. Pizza Syndicate is a prime example. You want to create a successful pizza empire? Well, you better get your micromanagement techs out, because this is a lot more than mozzarella. In the 17 pre-programmed campaigns, you've got to get from rags to riches and establish yourself in your chosen location with its various preferences and populations as the numero uno joint for pie. You interact with the game through a series of confounding wordless menus. If icons of your game, get out the hieroglyph books and pile in. Pizza Syndicate symbol-tastic. For those with a short attention span, get the bill and get out of here. The developers thought this would make their game more internationally marketable. In short, it don't. It makes it intensely avoidable. Things get a bit more bearable in personal mission mode, where you can design your own objective and you can also delegate to an automatic management team, allowing you the more appeasing and appealing delicacies like design and creativity. First up, choose a land plot. They're very basic, so don your interior design hat and get out the spackles and paint. You have the groundbreaking choice of 5 floor coverings, 4 stove types, plants with black pots, red pots, blue pots, or puce, a couple of different table sizes, and a lot of differently colored chairs. You can check that the population of the town you're in are cool with your design by embarking on a bit of market research. Each member of the population is delegated to a particular group. Their reactions are indicated by smiley faces. They're also the groups that determine whether your menu will float or sink. Now that you've designed the perfect restaurant, you've got to get the menu up and running. Each group has an opinion on what's the best topping, and you can't please them all, but to please any of them is a mindful task. You can throw caution to the wind and embark on the most creative pizza man has ever known. Ants your particular pleasure? Why not try them with maggots and Gouda? Who the hell cares if your townfolk are upset with your choice? The joy continues as you get involved with advertisers, mafiosi, the police, and the city government. And then 3 hours into it, you realize you're hungry and nothing on screen looks appealing. Pizza Syndicate is a good idea, but the actual implementation of it is less than appetizing. It looks like a work in progress, an undercooked idea with overripe ingredients. Book your reservations now, but get the anti-sickness pills at the ready. It's out on the 17th of September, if your stomach's strong enough.
Shit. So the story goes that you're just another punk on the street. You do wrong by some tough guy, and he wants you to suffer for it.
Who the fuck is the guy? I don't know. You fucking find him, you hear me? We'll get him.
So he sends 2 boneheads down to give you a good beating. You're hot for revenge, and that is where the story starts in Kingpin. Some of you will have already played this game, but not everyone. So I'm going to give you some general tips on how to get to the top of this bloody pile in the single-player mode. First up, it may seem obvious, but read the text file that comes with the game. It offers some invaluable advice that should see you safely through the start of the hoodlum hustle. If this doesn't help you, nothing will. Okay, here's 3 absolute basics. This is your testament. Repeat as a mantra. 1, Don't walk around with a weapon in your hand. You'll only scare people. Keep it hidden until absolutely necessary.
Hey, what's all the commotion?
I'll tell you right now, they'll tear you up. Yo,
Being a bully in this game will get you nowhere unless you use your wits. There's a time and a place for aggression. 2, if you see someone, try talking to them first.
Hey, you're the guy who wasted all them sewer rats, ain't you?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Unless, of course, they look angry and are holding a large weapon aimed in your general direction. In which case, pull out an even larger one and start pumping. This won't always work, of course, but it will feel great. To get back to the point, it does pay to be friendly in this game, and you never know who might have some hot info on the QT.
What's up?
you better stay away from the man if you know what's good for you.
3, stealth is of the essence. Okay, so this is no Metal Gear Solid, but remember, you're on someone else's punk-infested turf, and you're looking to take over their patch. It won't do to be heard breaking glass or splashing through mud when there's men on the alert ready to fire at will and blow your sorry arse to Kingpin come. If you have to smash a window or crack open a crate, kill all the thugs in the area first. That way you get the element of surprise on your side, not them. And if you're running through mud, don't. Walk. It's much quieter. Hopefully by now you will have got through the early stages and picked up a couple of weapons to boot. There's some big toys out there to play with, but there's no point having a pistol in your pocket if you don't know how to use it. Here's my advice on how to handle your weapons. First and foremost, get the crowbar. It rocks. It does some heavy damage and has uses other than to smash someone's head in, like opening crates. Something you don't want to do with your firepower, simply because not only will you be wasting ammo, but you might also blow yourself up. Nice, eh? Now, pistol accuracy increases with use. You may feel a bit of a tip doing this, but it's well worth it if you have a couple of rounds of ammo to spare. Basically, face a wall and fire them off into it. This is guaranteed to see your headshot accuracy improve. Groovy. Hopefully that lot should help you on your way to the top. And when you get there, don't forget your friends. Send us a postcard of your victory. Take a screenshot with the F11 button and mark it with love. Kingpin is out now for PC.
Saturday Night to competition winners. A month and a half ago, we began our mischievous plan to explore the dwellings of our viewers' minds by asking our very first thought-probing question. In order to win a Jedi of strategy guides and a Logitech cordless keyboard TM with mouse, we asked what strategy you would employ to win them. Well, heck-a-doodle dandy, we got a lot of responses, and you know what? If I had a dime for every romantic dinner proposal we got, gee willikers. After trawling through the umpteen entries, we decided on the one that was the most thorough, the most complete, the one that covered the most bases.
Nick Taverner, you tried everything from flattery to bribery and even blackmail. You are the winner. Stay tuned for another fantastic competition at the end of the show. Let's take a little look at what's on the shop shelves now then, shall we? So, you like to go for a little spin in your car now and again, but you're worried about the price of petrol. Well, we've got a double helping of good news for you. The classic Colin McRae Rally has been released on the PC budget range. So leave the motor in the garage and an extra Nelson in the bank. If you haven't shelled out for McRae yet, there's never been an easier time. Jolly Hockey Sticks? You're looking at NHL Pro 99, featuring the voice of NHL TV announcer Randy Hahn.
Welcome to the NHL Tonight. I'm Randy Hahn. Tonight's game features the North American All-Stars.
Shin guards clash with shin guards. Breastplates collide with breastplates. Ice hockey has got to be the most visceral, not to mention vicious, of so-called non-contact sports. So take cover behind your Nintendo and settle down with the latest edition of the virtual version. Also on Nintendo is NBA Pro 99. Yep. This time, basketball is getting the big update with more than 300 NBA players packed into that little cartridge. Improved motion captured animations and loads of camera positions, even an adjustable zoom. So all you shorties out there, take heart, because because here's your big chance to reach new heights in that oh-so-demanding sport.
The OSA welcomes you to Orbital Station Chunlo.
And finally, we go all sci-fi horror with the newest addition to the Deep Space System Shock series for PC. It's new, it's improved. Oh, the 3D engine. Oh, the AI. Oh, the particle effects. And the title? Well, they're calling it System Shock 2. Shocking for sure. But facetiousness aside, this game is well worth a look if you like your RPG spiced with plenty of action. They're all going that way these days.
Can somebody let me out? I can't find my card. Please, let me out of here.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Some people may call it perverse obsession, but we like to think of it as research.
Let's face it, there are no limits to where science can take us.
So screw morals because it's cheap time on bit.
Somewhere, deep in the bowels of our volunteer subject lies the answer to your questions. We just have to dig deeper.
Aha! There's a siphon filter lodged in the arterial cavity. Apparently, if you're too much of a weenie to get through the game as a real man, you can fight against artificially weakened opponents. To suck out their gusto, follow these simple instructions.
Oops.
During the game, press pause and select the map feature. Then press right, L2, R1, and X. You were bullied as a child?
Aha! Here's the problem with the gluteus maximus. There's a WWF attitude growing out of it. Yes, get down and dirty with your opponents. Rough them up and pitch them outside the ring for full, hardcore mayhem. Here's how to get the catapult effect. Go!
Oh no!
First, stun your opponent, then press LLX, then drop kick 'em. Cruelty's so sweet.
Join us after the break for a dose of this.
To the fantastic little Game Boy.
Ah, for those people who like to play with themselves on the move.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, apparently it's going to be called the Game Boy Advanced, and it will boast a backwards compatible little body with a 32-bit RISC CPU.
And now you're going to tell me that it's internet compatible as well.
Well, yes, actually, via a mobile telephone, no less. And that means downloadable games, even better multiplayer downloadable games, and of course you'll be able to chat and email your mates as well.
But what good is that when it's so much fun to play with your invisible friends on your own?
Yes, quite. Anyway, the latest news is that you'll also be able to connect it to the new Dolphin. The mind boggles.
Yes. So, anything else?
Yes, Acclaim have just announced that they've just signed a deal with Ferrari, the first Ferrari cars, for 2 games, one a touring one and one a Formula One dream. For those of you who dreamed of flying with dragons, then the next game is a dream come true. For Draken, with a K, is the latest PC game to turn fantasy tales into virtual reality. To get bonding with your dragon and set forth to save the world.
You're not half bad, Dylan.
Okay, so Draken does have a pretty involving storyline, if you like that kind of thing. The tale begins with you playing a traditionally big-titted female heroine called Rin, taking a walk in the woods with her brother. Suddenly, you're set upon by trolls and goblins of the ugly kind. When you arrive back at your village, minus the little bro who's been kidnapped, the place is awash with ghastlies. Let the adventure begin. True to the fairy tale nature of this game, you'll have to discover keys, spells, unearth wizards and magical weapons. But best of all, you connect with and control a dragon who becomes companion and protector on your journey. Together, you set off to discover 4 distinct worlds over 11 game chapters, and, as in all good books, the plot unfolds with the game. The game looks really great, apart from the obviously over-endowed heroine. But maybe that's just because I'm a girl. Fortunately, she remains with her back to you most of the time, as the extremely effective camera pans around behind your shoulder in the typical third-person perspective. You'll only get a full frontal when you check out items in your inventory, so there. The Draken world looks pretty good, lush and green. It's an expansive realm that goes into detail even in areas that you're unlikely to reach, which just adds to the atmosphere and realism of the game. Like Tiberian Sun, the game's developers, Surreal, have used layering technology to give you a full 3D feel for your landscape and environment. There are also some fantastic real-time coloured lighting effects, and I have to say, pretty though it may sound, the shadows were a delight too. I did notice a couple of visual glitches though, such as when you're stood on top of a box. Only the heroine's shadow remains in view, not the shadow of the box she's standing on. Tut tut. Typically, combat plays an important role in this game, more so than the action-adventure side of it, in fact. So, I'm happy to say that this is one versatile lady. You'll pick up a veritable arsenal of weapons to be proud of. A minimum of 19, each with its own unique capability. Luckily, Rin is a limber lass and can make good use of them, performing a variety of actions from backflips to rolls as she battles it out. An impressive 8 acrobatic combat moves in total, and she's going to need them because later, critters will certainly put up a good fight as they all have their own individual combat tactics.
No fantasy would be complete without magic, and in Draken there's plenty of it. Rin herself will acquire fantastical powers, which you'll be able to put to both offensive and defensive use. Go on, girl.
I will say that if you're using a keyboard, you should change the default keys, because if you want her doing acrobatics as she fights, you could end up with some outlandish finger maneuvers. Now, hand-to-hand is always fun, but where this game really excels is on the back of a dragon. And as nimble-fingered as you'll have to be on the ground control, expect to be equally so in the air as you make your trusty steed, Arok, perform barrel rolls, dives and sharp turns. This old bugger's a pretty handy brawler himself, with 5 different types of breaths, including poison gas, ice, lightning and lava. I never thought I'd say it, but dragon breath is the business. He's a nice old boy too, because when you're on solid soil and playing as Rin, he'll protect you. Ah. Single play is fun, but go online and you'll notice there are already multiple Draken sites sprouting up from nowhere. The multiplayer option is looking good, as you'll be able to fight from the sky or on the ground. Now you can't get much better than that now, can you?
Whether you're into your fantasy or not, Draken is a superb game. You get to take control of 2 characters, one human, one dragon, both very versatile and very different to control. There's a really nice little story going on as well, full of magic and mystery, and more action and adventure than you could shake a wand at, not to mention the gorgeous graphics.
And you definitely want to turn the sound up on this one, or you'll miss some wonderful atmospheric aural effects.
Draken is out to buy now for your PC.
Everyone's getting nostalgic these days. Movies, music, and even computer games. Lately, there's been a surge of old-school coin-op re-releases like Paperboy and Frogger, and emulators like MAME are damn skippy at revitalizing old memories of titles like Q*bert and Robotron. So, it's not a surprise that the old 1980s Williams cult classic Sinistar is slated for a remake. Yes, 16 years later, Sinistar Unleashed is coming to a galaxy near you. The concept started out in 1983 as a 2D space shooter. Granted, it had a lot of competition in those days, but what put it head and shoulders above the rest was that it delivered compelling and addictive gameplay to the disposably incomed arcade goer. It had a simple concept, but difficult though it was, it promised you would progress further and further the more money you put in. Oh, how the carrot dangled.
Beware, I live. I hunger. Run, coward.
Its main gimmick was that it featured the first digitized voice in a computer game. Beware, I live still strikes fear into the hearts of gamers the world over. Attention spans have wandered, so a group of people have decided to make something that will blow your block off. From cult phenomenon to PC intergalactic shooter, Sinistar Unleashed is almost through the gate, and it looks gorgeous. It helps that the team of developers at GameFX are ex-3DFX folk. The Accelerator company was kind enough to let them have a go at their own game. Naturally, these dudes know what their software can do. Needless to say, plot-wise, it's a bit of standard fare, but the game is out of this world. Taking the lead from the original, the game puts you in the cockpit as the only person who can stop the development of a horrendous biomechanical bug-like creature named Sinistar. Its existence would allow a group aptly named Distilled Evil to take over the universe. And we can't have that, can we? Through 24 levels, your ship is driven, mended, and armed by crystals that are floating around as part of asteroids. You mine them, suck them into your ship in an undisclosed fashion, and use them to get into the center of the Sinistar universe so you can destroy the big bad guy and ultimately win the game. The crystals are also picked up by the enemy's slave force, the Sporg, your unfortunate companions in the galaxy. Not only do these Sporgs shoot at you, but they've been enlisted to use the crystals to build a warp gate for use by the Sinistar to enter this dimension. Once construction is complete, the boss bangs out of hyperspace and into your face. Damn, it's time to get wicked. Each round ends with the defeat of a Sinistar and your progression to the next area. There aren't any missions per se, although the bonus story mode round at the end of each level tries its best as you're ordered to rescue various neutral people from the wrath of certain death. You're a nice guy. What can you say? You must have a joystick to play this game. There is absolutely no other way. I mean, even though it is very straightforward gameplay, it's inconceivable to attempt to roll, fire, drag the clutch, and accelerate at the same time with a bunch of buttons laid out in a format originally intended for word processing. Even in the original game, recently re-released on the PlayStation, you must use the analog stick. There's no other way. Forget about it. You're in 3D space with a gazillion explorable miles around in any direction and 100 dudes shooting at you. If you want, you can avoid a fracas and head into the Great Black Yonder, away from the asteroid belt and the gate of certain conflict. However, you will be stopped by entities who will act as bouncers of outermost space. It's best not to aggravate them. They're harmless unless pushed. You've got a bulging little armory at your disposal. Each uses a certain number of crystals depending on the power and high-techity of the weapon. But discard it all when the Sinistar comes along, because the only thing you can use to get rid of this bad boy are Cinnabons. There is some crafty maneuvering necessary here, especially towards the latter levels when they start lashing out with their huge feelers and tracking beams. They are truly terrifying. As a nod to the original, the final level features the Granddaddy Arcade Baddie and his new wave compatriots looking to eat your butt for breakfast. Sinistar Unleashed is over the top, just like games used to be before the play was replaced by higher thought and useless engines. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. Run, coward! It lives again, resurrected on the 17th of September. After a hard day on the battlefield, killing and maiming, there's nothing we enjoy more than returning to our bunker and playing a selection of PC games.
Yes, we escape from worrying about our losses with games such as these, including Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun with a Destiny joypad and a Destiny joystick. Well, it's not as easy as it used to be.
If you want to win all this cool stuff, simply tell us how you would change the course of history using an egg timer, a toothbrush, and my internal organs.
Send us your plans of actions to bitsonflorlater@yahoo.co.uk.
Games, but